Hello, I'm going to talk to you about media studies. Media is a large part of our lives. It surrounds us, it can influence us, and it often binds us together. All of us, to some extent or other, engage with the media every single day. But a question I'm often asked is, what is the media? Of course, we're talking about social media, but it's also the entire internet, every website and app you visit. It's radio, it's newspapers, and journalism, and all kinds of news. It's television, both streaming and freeview. It's magazines, gaming, console and PC, and all forms of advertising. And of course, the wonderful world of cinema.
Whatever, man, it's a trick.
But please be my guest.
Media is any form of communication on a massive scale, which is why it's sometimes called mass media. But why study it? Well, to answer that, I'm going to ask you quite a strange question, and that is, what noise does a frog make?
Ribbit, 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 ribbit,
Ribbit.
ribbit, 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 ribbit.
What noise does a frog make?
What kind of frog?
The truth is, there are almost 5,000 species of frog on Earth. Some of them hiss, some of them croak, some of them bark. Only one goes ribbit. That one frog is the Californian tree frog. Now, California is the media capital of America. It's where you find most TV and internet companies, and crucially, it's where you'll find Hollywood. It's where most films are made. That means that whenever a film company, like Mr. Disney, needed the sound of a frog, they would take their microphones into the Californian countryside and record this sound. And now, when we think of a frog, we often think of them going ribbit. Who would have thought there was such a thing as frog privilege? But the thing is, if the media can change the way we see a frog, how can it change the way we see other aspects of society? How can it change the way we see teenagers? How can it change the way we see women, the way we see ethnicity, the way we see politics? If you choose to study media, and seriously, why wouldn't you? You will learn about the way it works, how it's constructed to create meanings and messages, and we will show you the theories and ideas you need to be able to analyse those messages. But it's also a practical subject, so once you understand the way it works, you will be given the opportunity to create your own media products using the equipment we have in school to create things such as this. So where can it lead? Well, aside from the fact that the media industry is one of the most successful industries in this country, with lots of jobs available to you, the fact remains that whatever you do for a living, the chances are you will have to engage with the media in some way. Every business, whether small, medium or large, has some kind of media profile, be it their social media or their websites, and understanding the way those work will give you an advantage.
Morning Year 9. Those of you that have studied business bridging already have some idea of the concepts and business, but that does not mean that you cannot study the subject if you haven't completed the bridging course. Everything in life involves business, so anybody who understands how business works has an advantage in the future. There are many career paths that can be entered after studying business, such as accountancy, advertising, banking, investment and financial services, general management, HR, personnel, management consultancy, public relations, retail management, and many more. We studied the edXL GCR business course in years 10 and 11 and covered topics such as finance, marketing, aims of businesses, the economic environment, people in business, and customer service. At the end of this course, you will take 2 written exams lasting 90 minutes each, so need to be able to write clearly and concisely. Progression into sixth form, you can either do BTEC Business, which is mainly coursework, and 3 external exams, or A-level, that is 3 exam papers. From there, you can then go on to university and any other further education pathway and have a career in any one of the jobs that I mentioned earlier. So please choose business.
At the minute, economics is one of the hottest subjects. I'm sure you've heard the word economics from time to time, even if you're not watching the news. Obviously, there's 2 things happening at the minute which affects the economy hugely, and that is obviously COVID-19, and the other one has been Brexit, which is a bit in the back room at the minute, but the COVID has had a huge effect on everything, and it affects all of us, sadly. When I think about economics, you're probably thinking, well, what's that all about? Well, economics is really about the output of this country, not only this country, but countries all over the world, and it's fascinating to know how those things are going. And when we think of COVID-19 is having a huge effect on what we produce and what other countries are producing around the world. To give you a little bit of an idea, I've come up with 4 numbers. And just to give you a little suggestion, when you do this economics, you've got to think a little bit about maths as well. So here are the 4 numbers I'm going to think of, which have an effect, and hopefully think about them. The first figure I've chosen is for £2.2 trillion. And that's basically the size of the UK. That's the output of the UK is worth £2.2 trillion. So we are a big country, probably the 5th biggest in the world. The second figure to have a look at is for 30%. And of that £2.2 trillion, which is the amount we produce in the UK, how much of that actually goes abroad? And 30% tends to go abroad as exports. Now that's worth remembering that we just left, basically, the European Union, and 50% of our exports used to go there. So things may have to change a little bit, but we've got to bear that in mind as an economist. If we're not selling to the European Union as much as we used to, who are we going to be selling our exports to? The third interesting figure I've got is this one. Again, it's another big one, £860 billion. Interesting figure, and it's a lot when you think about it, but that's what the government spends every year. And again, what does the government spend that money on? You all have your views on that. Is it on education? Is it on the NHS, etc., etc.? But again, the interesting thing is because of COVID-19, we haven't really got that money for the government to spend at the minute. The final figure, which is really about COVID-19 and how that affects us, the economists, and which we'd like to have a look at, is 8.9%. And that's the amount we basically shrunk in the last year because of COVID. And you know a lot of people aren't going to work as they used to. We're not buying as much as we used to, but it has an effect on all of us. So the wealth of this country has effectively gone down by about 10%. When you think about it, so 9–10%. The question is, what are we going to do about it? And what's the government going to do about it? And those are the interesting questions we have as an economist. Economics, I think, is a highly regarded subject. Whichever profession you want to go in and you understand economics, people like you. And I found that very useful when I did it as an A-level. I did a degree, and my first profession was in advertising. And as soon as I walked through the door and I said, well, I have a degree in economics, they liked me, because if I understood about economics, I knew about businesses and how business would be successful. For businesses to be successful, though, you may have a great idea, but if the economy is not working, if the economy is not expanding, if people don't have more money to spend, business is never going to happen. So economics is an interesting thing to do. Just an idea of the people I did economics with when I was at school, when I was at university. Again, they went in different professions, different directions. And again, the classic ones were in finance. Some people went into law, some people went, as I said, into the marketing area. Some people went to work for television, which is interesting as well. But whichever direction you want to go in, working for the government or working for the private sector, if you have an understanding of economics, that will always stand you in good stead.
Hello Year 9. So why study health and social care? There are so many reasons to study this course, the biggest one being that you can make a difference in someone's life. This current pandemic has highlighted the importance of our health and social care sector. The NHS have worked so hard to save lives and help people through this awful virus. The health and social care sector is also the biggest employer in England. There are approximately 1.6 million people currently working for the NHS. This course is not just for females wanting to get into nursing. There are so many different roles within the health and social care sector, including nurses, GPs, dentists, counsellors, social workers, teachers, paramedics, physiotherapists. The list is endless. There are over 350 different job roles within the health and social care sector. The number of boys also choosing this course has also risen year by year. The BTEC Health and Social course is equivalent to one GCSE. You will study 3 components. 2 will be internal assignments and will be internally assessed, and 1 will be an external written exam. The kind of things that you will learn about will include: how do individuals grow and develop at different stages? Factors that affect growth and development, such as economic factors or environmental factors. You'll learn about various conditions such as blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and learn how to take readings and interpret them. You'll learn about the various jobs within the health and social care sector, and also how people face barriers in accessing services. For your internal assignments, you will be creating reports, writing scripts, and also creating PowerPoint presentations. While studying for this course, you'll learn key skills such as organisation and planning skills, communication skills, collaborating with others, and also research skills. A lot of students carry on and study this in sixth form too. They then go on to university and have signed up for degrees, such as biomedicine, diagnostic radiography, and even criminology. So if you want to make a difference in someone's life, then this is definitely the course for you.
Have you ever wondered how society affects people and people affect society? Welcome to Sociology. So let's get started. What is sociology all about? Sociology is a study of society. So things like, what do you think are the characteristics of a good member of society? We also look at the patterns of social relationships. So we look at things like, what are the key trends in divorce, marriage? We also look at things like social interaction. What are the different interactions between relationships, between a mother and a son, between a husband or a wife, between siblings? Do people act the way they do only because of their interests and emotions? Sociology is also about the culture of everyday life. What we mean by that is, it is a way of life of a group of people. It is what they do daily and how they behave. So things like, what are the different types of foods they eat, the languages they speak, what are their norms and values. Moving on to what topics you will learn about. So in Year 10, you will learn 2 main topics. The first one will be families and households. In this, we will explore what are the different views of the functions of the family. We will study how relationships within families have changed over time, we will explore what are the changing patterns of divorce in Britain since the year 1945. The second main topic we will study in Year 10 is education. In education, we will explore what are the roles and functions of education, what are the factors affecting educational achievement, what is the relationship between education and capitalism. Moving on to Year 11, so the second year of sociology, you will be studying two other topics. The first one will be a very interesting topic, crime and deviance. This is an absolute favorite. Why? Because we study and explore the social construction of concepts of crime and deviance. We explore what are the formal and informal methods of social control. What are the factors affecting criminal and deviant behavior? Why do people behave the way they do? Why does one commit a crime? We study the official data on how crime and the study of patterns and trends in crime figures, and we look at what the dark figure is all about. Last but not least, there is a topic called social stratification. In this topic, this is the final topic you will study in Year 11, and in this we explore the different sociological perspectives and theories behind why certain people are at a certain level in society. We explore the different views on factors affecting life chances. We actually explore the reasons behind why poverty exists and why is this actually a social issue. We look at what are their other forms of power and authority. So what will be your exam board? Your exam board will be AQA. If you would like to find out more about your specification, you can scan the QR code at the bottom. It is important to know how you will be assessed during this course. So in Year 10 you will study 50% of the content, and in Year 11 you will study the remaining 50% of the content. By the end of Year 11 you will have two examinations. Paper 1 will be about the sociology of families and education, and this will be worth 50% of your GCSE grade. And you will then have paper 2, which is the sociology of crime and deviance and social stratification, and this is worth 50% of your GCSE. They are worth 100 marks each. This course is 100% exam based. What can you do with sociology as a subject in the future? What career options are there for you out there? What could you possibly do with a sociology degree? Some of you might love the subject at GCSE and wish to take it up for A-levels and then university. Well, you can become a teacher in the future. You can become a management consultant. You can become a social worker. There's other opportunities like lawyer, becoming a media planner, a policy analyst, or even a researcher. Here's what a typical sociology classroom looks like. As you can see, students have got textbooks open, students are working into groups, they're preparing debates. There's students in the third picture preparing for some micro teaching where they're teaching a part of the lesson to the rest of the class. So as students, you'll be interested to know, well, what sort of activities will the lessons actually have? So we do a lot of debates in sociology where you're split into two teams and you're given a question and you have time to prepare for that debate. You also watch a lot of documentaries which are real life based. So if we're studying crime and deviance, you'll look at crime documentaries which give you a real insight to the reasons behind why crime takes place in the first place. You'll be learning essay writing, so you'll be learning how to structure a 6 marker, how to structure a 12 marker. You'll also be doing micro teaching. Now this might be something new to some of you, but we do a lot of this in sociology where you're teaching a part of the lesson and you're working in groups and you get to be the teacher. And this is often great fun. We also do a lot of quizzes. Some of you might have heard Kahoot. We do a lot of Kahoots in my lessons. You do role play. So you're given a scenario and you often have to act out a specific scenario to teach the other class. So who will teach you GCSE Sociology? That is myself. I am Miss Gardazy. I also teach A-level Sociology, and I look forward to teaching you all if you pick my subject. So I'm going to end on a famous quote that says, "The function of sociology, as of every science, is to reveal that which is hidden." So my message to you is, why don't you pick sociology as a subject so that we can explore what is hidden together?
Hello, young minds. Now, what I want to share with you today is why you should choose to do PRE. PRE is basically philosophy, religion, and ethics. And what I want you to do is first look at some of the questions that I put on the bullet point, and to decide maybe these are some questions that you are asking yourself before you make a decision to choose this subject. Now, our job is not to change your religion. Our job is not to make you religious. Our job is to show you what you can benefit from choosing to do this subject. Now, we need to understand that we are social beings. And what this means is that we interact with each other. And because we interact with each other, we need to understand what is important to us. And for most people, if you're taking about 90% of the world population that believe in one God or the other, or maybe believe in one religion or the other, means that there are more people that are religious in the world that we live in. And because of this, it's important that we need to learn to know these people, what is important to them, and to show respect to them for that. Now, if we take the United Kingdom, this is predominantly a multi-faith and multi-cultural society. And what PRE does is it gives you the chance to be able to interact with people, respect people, and be respected, because you need to understand where these people are coming from, which mostly is based on what they believe as well. Now, PRE is both academic and also hands-on subject. So basically, you're going to be involved in quite a rigorous way of learning, and also to be able to believe in the things that you're going to study in terms of understanding and also sharing your opinions on different things. Now, some of these things will be based on the skills that you learn from this subject. We're talking about skills like empathy, being able to respect one another, being able to evaluate, being able to argue, be able to debate. These are all skills that you will need in all jobs that in the future that you want to get involved in. It's very important that you need to understand that these are transferable skills that you can learn and also move on to any subject that you need to do. Now, there are different career paths that you can choose when you have PRE as basically a certificate. If you want to be a doctor, you definitely need to understand that there are moments that you need to make ethical decisions about whether what you're doing is right or wrong. If you're a lawyer, if you're a judge, you need to understand that a lot of things that people do, a lot of the laws that we follow are based on our religious beliefs. For example, the laws in the UK are definitely very much linked to the Christian beliefs that the British people have. So being a judge, being a lawyer, you need to understand that this is part of the studies that you're going to do in terms of what people believe. If you want to be a policeman, if you want to be a social worker, most of the jobs that you need to do in terms of interacting with people, PRE is very much recognized as a very good grade for that. Now, this is a subject that basically your opinion counts. No matter how small, no matter what your opinion is, it is definitely tolerated. It is not shunned. You will be respected for what you say, and basically you can share it at any time. And you are encouraged to do this. So if you are up to it, then you should be able to join us, be able to enjoy yourself in terms of participating in most of the debates that will be involved in this subject. Now, what are we going to teach you? Now, yes, we will look at some Christian beliefs and some Islamic beliefs and practices, but we're also going to look at relationship and families. We're going to look at religion, peace and conflict. We're going to look at human rights. We're going to look at justice as well. So it's a lot of issues that we need to cover in this subject, and I'm sure that you will enjoy being part of this group. Now, any questions that you want to ask, you can always contact me and I will explain it further to you. But I'm looking forward in inviting you and hopefully you accepting to join us in PRE. Thank you.